What's up guys, Darkdally here, and today I want to talk some about defending your settlement against settlement raids. I've done several different kinds of building styles in my videos, from unique architecture to, just all kinds of ways to build settlements. And one thing I've been focusing on lately is building it specifically for defense. Now, I don't mean just like building a wall around your settlement, and calling it good. I mean like serious planned defense. And the reason I started doing this like really in depth is because I downloaded a mod and started using it in immersive gameplay. It's a pretty popular mod, so I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. I just started using it the other day, and I love what it does to the game. I love the difficulty. And one thing I knew was that I knew I was going to be facing large raids. Sanctuary here just survived an attack of, I don't know, 20 or so raiders. Now, if you're not familiar with immersive gameplay, it changes a lot of things in the game. But one thing that it does is, well, it makes everything more realistic, at least from the author's perspective, and I happen to agree with him. Your enemies are generally going to be geared in heavy armor, even at level 1. You can expect missile launchers, combat shotguns, assault rifles, and absolutely everything. Because they're going to have everything at their disposal, just like real raiders would. That said, I'm going to get to this in a second here. So, I knew I was going to be facing these larger raids. There's a lot more bodies, by the way. They're holed up in a lot of these houses and such. And so I wanted to focus on serious settlement defense. Mainly three things. I wanted to focus on a panic room, you could say. This right here is my own personal quarters of the settlement, and I wanted to make sure that it could stay locked, tight, safe, have multiple areas to fire from, and multiple areas to take cover, and I will show that. Number two, I wanted a super protected area for my crops, and I'll be going over this. All my crops are in here, and though 20-some raider survivalists and professional raiders just came, there's not a single broken crop. And then three, mobility, I guess you could say. I wanted mobility back and forth between the different areas, so I would not have to expose myself to travel from my quarters to, say, the farm or whatever. And yeah, I know the bridge is kind of just hanging up there. This is still a work in progress. It was more important to me that I get it done and get it functional before worrying about how it looks. Now, all that said, I also wanted to make sure my resources, not just my crops, were well hidden, well protected. For instance, the water supply is here. The only way to get here is this area right here, which is guarded by these two turrets, one of which does appear to be broken. We'll get to that. I'll get to that later. What I've done is I just blocked off the area behind this house here. This is the settlers' quarters. Yeah, I know, it's real fancy. So this is all, I left these hedges up here, and this has all been blocked off to try to limit access to my water pumps, because we all know how they love to destroy resources. My generator is kind of the same deal. Generator is in a building up there, and there's no way to get up there for them. Now let's start with point number one, which is my quarters. I have it set up with a power door, but there's no switch for it. It's because I found in situations where you're getting pounded by guys like this, and you have about a 10-second, 5-second warning of gunshots before it starts. So I have it rigged with just a simple generator hooked up to it. It's the simplest thing, but it's also the easiest, because you can just run in here, you can click that, which turns off the generator, and you don't have to worry about fumbling for a switch or anything like that. I leave it open all the time. I only close it if there's an attack or if I'm going to sleep or something. And these are all pretty basic things you can do. There's really no fancy tricks in here. I've used some of my techniques from my videos that you've seen. One thing I wanted to do is I wanted to have windows that I could shoot from and see most of the area around. But one thing, take care to have, notice I have these walls, oopsie, I have these walls set up here, and also have this almost kind of set up maze-like, and the reason is so that I can only take fire from one window at a time, no matter where I'm standing. I can easily fire at any angle and still take cover. And I'm never exposed to more than one window at a time. I'm here and I'm wearing power armor, which is mostly intact. The reason My power armor so destroyed is actually because I just came from a raid at another settlement. I got back-to-back raids. Anyway, my power armor is destroyed from a raid at 10 Pines, which I will show you in a few moments. So I thought this was a good idea, and it turns out it was. I still took a lot of damage, but fighting off this raid, I actually only had to use one stim pack. I took a bit of fire from this window, but these are really handy. This gives you the ability to take cover while not being exposed at any other point. If you want to be brave, you can come up here, but if you're running immersive gameplay mod and you are getting raided, I would advise not to be, this open. Okay. Now, and then up here I have, this is my armor area. It's pretty small. This guy's only level 10. Yeah, notice there's like 20 dead Raider survivalists out there, and I'm level 10. So, this makes stuff pretty serious. My workstation up here also has my patented power windows, which you can see me make in numerous videos. I think they look really cool. So the only way to get up here is from those quarters down there, and with that door shut, you're perfectly safe. I also have this bridge which goes down to my farm area. Now the farm area is designed, you may have noticed, quite oddly. One thing I've noticed in raids is that crops get destroyed, and I just won't have it. It just annoys me when crops get destroyed. I've had crops I could not repair for whatever reason, through a bug or glitch or something. I just could not repair certain crops. And I don't like doing it. I don't like using crops to repair crops. So I ventured to make my crops perfectly safe. Okay, the first thing is they are completely enclosed in this building. Now, and then there's a door here. I will go over the doors in one moment. So all the crops are completely enclosed in here, safe from everything, and they can still get plenty of sunlight from above. Now the reason there's an outer wall, I know this kind of looks like a prison. What I have here is I have this building. When this door is closed, all the crops are protected from gunfire or anything like that, but I wanted to also protect them further from splash damage from explosions. Of these 20 or so dead raiders, about 3 of them had missile launchers on them, and of course half of them had Molotov cocktails. I wanted to protect these crops from splash damage from explosions. That's why what I have here, and I think this is a cool idea. I wouldn't use this on every one of my farms, but this is my main farm, and I have it so I can expand this building upward and add more and more crops to supply more settlements, which I will do. I would recommend something like this if you're going to run a mod like I am with heavy raids like this. Have something like this. Out here, one tile out from the inner building is this mesh, and this is going to stop any explosions. Any explosion thrown is going to hit this, and the splash damage is not going to damage the crops inside. The lip on top simply makes it just about impossible for a raider. A raider's not going to purposefully throw something over the wall into the crops, and you kind of have to even try to hit it, because with this lip, this angle here is going to actually throw it. I'm out. This angle here is actually going to throw it completely over. It's going to clear the entire structure. The only way to actually hit inside there is to stand about right here and throw at a very tall angle, and no raider's going to do that. That said, this outer wall is to make it completely explosion and fireproof. So these crops, well, they won't ever get damaged. That was an accident.
That's one heck of a getup.
Okay. I also have walkways in here. I figured why not? I was going to build this humongous system. So we've got catwalks all the way around. Although I would not for the life of me, after seeing the ferocity of that raid, I would not for the life of me come out here this exposed to put down fire, but you can if you want to. And then that is the bridge that goes back to my personal quarters. Now I mentioned these doors. What I've done with these doors is basically I have a switch in my personal area. This is the kill switch for that. It's in here so that even if I'm locked in my quarters, I can hit this switch And what it does is it closes the inner and outer doors. Everything in there is locked in, and everything out here is now locked out. Nothing can get into my crops. And this raid that just happened, as soon as it happened, that's the first thing I did. I ran into my quarters over here, and the first thing I did was I hit this generator, shut that door, and turned that switch off. That sealed everything off. That pretty much makes you, dare I say, invincible. So long as you can use proper cover in here. To do the emergency lockdown on the farm, it's just very simple. My generator is up there, and I simply just ran a wire to this switch and then just ran it over there. So right now the farm here has no other power other than this one wire that goes to the doors, and we'll fix that eventually. But simple as that. I think that's a great idea, guys. Now, I said I was gonna, I guess I should show you what can happen during some of these raids. So we'll do that real quick. Here I was completely unprepared. This was my first raid I encountered after having implemented the immersive gameplay mod, and as you can see, you get completely overrun, or you can, get completely overrun. I was not prepared for this. My strategy here was, since I had nowhere to take cover, nowhere to hide, I had no protection here, so, my usual procedure with ghouls is to spray an automatic weapon to their legs, and then you can just go around and coup de grace, shoot them in the head once they're down. But, yeah, after this was over, I went around and I counted between 30 and 40 ghouls. If I hadn't had power armor, obviously I would have been dead. I would have been so dead. So this right here is what really inspired me to actually make some decent defenses at my settlements. And now here, I have actually just arrived in Sanctuary right after that raid you just saw at 10 Pines, literally 30 seconds later. See, my health is still low, and I start hearing gunshots. So the first thing I do is I come in, I click the generator, I click that switch, so now everything is shut down. And yeah, I peeked my head up here before quickly realizing that that's a bad idea, because these are some serious raids. I really like this mod, and I'm going to show more content from it, more reasons I like it, things like that. But here, back to what I was saying here, I can hide within my bunker. A bunker is not a new idea, okay? But what I've done here, I'm pretty happy with it. I got the windows, I got walls, so I can cover. The lockdown feature is really, really awesome. I've got mesh over all my windows, and that's to stop, as you can hear, missiles going off. That's simply to stop explosive projectiles from coming through the window. And also, I would assume I didn't try to use VATS. With this mod that I'm using, VATS really isn't terribly effective. Because you really want to go for headshots, and VATS, to use headshots and VATS with this mod is it's pretty pointless. But anyway, I would assume that this mesh completely kills VATS. But I'm able to hide in here, and this actually worked really well. I only took a little bit of damage. And so this will be something I'll be doing more and more, and probably doing some more videos on this. Ways you can arm your settlement for defense against raids such as this. There were some stragglers that came in over there by the food supply. But yeah, nothing was damaged. I was only damaged a little bit, and I got to go around and pick up lots of free ammo and armor. So guys, tell me what you think. Like the video. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe for more. I'm going to be coming out with more stuff like this, still focused on building, but other aspects of more fun gameplay related to mods and all the fun things us PS4 users can now do. Alright guys, my name is Darkdally, and I will catch you guys next time.